installing and reviewing this case for the Galaxy Watch 4, and it also just disappeared, just like magic. That's the case. In this case, first of all, let's actually order it. So let's just. So there is this new thing called Amazon second delivery. I mean, it's kind of dumb if you think about it, but because why would you need a delivery in seconds? But let's actually try this. So order, add to basket. And now let's just proceed to check out one item. And the thing is, you just click on buy now, and then it just appears. I mean, let's just try this out. So I just click on it. Whoa! It's already here. So, well, that's the case. Also, just within seconds now, we have to actually unpack it because it's also part of the Prime delivery in seconds. But now, here's the case. It's watch tempered case. It actually doesn't have like a proper name. It's like classic watch band case. Hard PC case with tempered glass screen protector compatible with Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 44mm. So obviously you can't choose the size on the product page. So therefore, I mean, there are also blue and green editions, but this is the black one because who wants a blue and a green edition? This came out of China, and this is the reason it took a few days. So, but I'm glad it is here now. It didn't take a few days, but obviously just a few seconds. So here's the thing. You have this package, and in this package you find the screen protector. I had a different kind of screen protector. It was not really a screen protector, rather a case, and it was actually just a rubber thing that protected the edges. So I had a Galaxy Watch 4 before, and I actually had this other one. The thing is, I lost the one, or it got stolen, I don't quite know. And chances are I will never find out. But now, I have this one, and actually, here is the problem with having a rubber case just around. I actually can search up the older one, because it's something that's also maybe useful to know. First of all, if you have just a rubber case around the watch itself, that's kind of nice in terms of using the crown, so using the turning wheel, basically the turning wheel functionality. It's touch here. The Classic has this classic turning wheel, but if you have a rubber case around the watch, obviously, then you have something to guide your finger around, and this is something that's quite useful, and therefore you can actually use this. And so the one I had before was the Spigen Liquid Armor. It's very nice, it's made out of rubber, and it also has a very nice feel to it, but the problem obviously is that it doesn't protect your screen. Oh, I actually tried to focus, and I tapped on the screen, which doesn't really work, so I think now you see it, and yeah, it's called the Spigen. I guess I will link both of them in the description. It's called the Spigen Liquid Armor, compatible with Galaxy Watch 4 case 40mm, black. And yeah, well, so the other one also probably was not as thick, but the problem obviously is this is still a screen, and you want to protect the screen because if you have your watch on you and then you fix your bike, for example, or you pump up your tire, or I don't know, there are so many things where you can occasionally hit just metal. I mean, even in the kitchen, just hitting a pan on the side, for example, and then your watch scratches. Obviously, this is still Gorilla Glass. I don't know how many editions of Gorilla Glass there are, but first of all, I actually think I will move down basically the camera in order to see the installation process. So, this is my desk. And also, now the phone tends to tip over, which is something I hope it doesn't. Now, this is my notebook. Even though it's my notebook, I would probably take it away because I don't want to do anything to my notebook. It doesn't want it to be done to it. So now, first of all, in the package also already was a wiping tool, and that's actually very familiar because I got the exact same thing before. But let's actually just clean it before. So obviously it's waterproof. Therefore I just spray some alcohol on it, and that's like, yeah, that was like something that fell down. Hopefully it was not a foam. So now let's just take a little bit of things and just clean it. So now it's already pretty clean. I also didn't use it before I just unpacked it and installed a few things. but I didn't use it until the protector was here. This is kind of a problem. Whenever you buy something, whether it is a phone or something else with a screen that needs to be protected, you basically cannot use the device before you install the thing. And this is kind of a problem because you also cannot really test the device apart from you being on the couch and where it cannot fall down. Because obviously, if you, for example, want to resell the device itself, scratches are also not a huge point for upping the price of, upping the resale price. So therefore, for example, on the device so this is my old Galaxy S10. And I mean, it has a few scratches now because I did put it out of the case constantly, but I used it and it was refurbished in kind of good quality, and it actually doesn't even have a single scratch. So I put a screen protection on it, and well, it looks like a new phone kind of, and it was refurbished, and I used it for 1 year as of now, and it looks like new basically. That's very nice. And this also means if you put it on eBay, then you get a very high resale price because nobody can say how long the battery lasts because this is something that's not standardized. And therefore, the only criteria for how big or how high the reselling price is obviously how nice the phone looks. Therefore, I mean, also if you drop something like a phone without a case, then chances are it cracks, maybe. So now let's actually open this one. The first one says wipes, and it has a 1 on it. Therefore, I just assume it's the one that should be first used. There is no instruction manual in it, but I think I will just take out the thing that's in there, and let's just, something like this just comes in so handy. I had a tempered glass protector once before, so this one is made out of tempered glass. I thought it was just made out of rubber or out of silicone or out of some other plastic, but it actually is glass. It seems like it. I had on my Galaxy Active Watch 2, I had a case that was made out of plastic. Not really plastic, much more rubber or silicone, so it was like soft. And it worked pretty well. The only problem was that the screen wasn't as responsive. And since the old Galaxy watches, since they are not like the most powerful devices in the universe, also in general watches, at least compared to phones, the problem obviously is that whenever you load a little bit of stuff onto them, like a few Spotify songs, then they just tend to lag. And that's something I hope will be not as much the case. I already tested this watch like for 2 weeks. 2 weeks about, before I lost the first edition of this watch. And now this is basically the replacement, which is not the most ideal thing ever, but it happened, and therefore I also want to continue tracking my workout. So basically I have a chain of tracking all these workouts and everything I do in order to maybe one day look back on all this. And also you can look up the data on Strava, for example, and then just see how well you are doing and how you are performing compared to the previous month, which is something that is quite motivating when it comes to doing these things. So now, an obvious problem is to get rid of all these last things on here. And I just now realized that it also kind of goes onto the other corners. The nice thing is that it obviously looks pretty much the same. I mean, let's just look at it closer. This is the watch, and the case itself looks kind of like the outer layers of the watch actually do. And that's something that's quite nice. So actually, I just move this a little bit more from me, and then you can see it better. I mean, it's not ideal because I cannot put it any further because the microphone is also attached to the same thing. But I guess it doesn't matter that much, and you don't have to see everything in detail. So let's just try it again, and let's get rid of the last things on here. I actually did something like this on a Kindle once, and on a Kindle it's a different dimension than like a smartwatch that is only like a few centimeters in diameter. Also on your notebook, I have like a screen protection on my notebook, and it's just nuts since it's a touch notebook, and well, I got a few bubbles in there. So now it seems like it's still not here. Because the thing is, sometimes these towels or these small things are just, they just lose these small things all the time. Or also, maybe it's just the dusty, but I just cannot get it right now. Which makes me thinking about stopping the video until I actually do it right. But also, I guess you are enjoying this totally, since you are still watching, therefore. So let's clean it again. Let's actually film the whole process, because I don't want to skip anything. I do the real thing here. Okay. I also tried to, out of a phone screen protector, just cut out a screen protector actually for the previous watch and just put it on, and then use the Spigen case, and it didn't really work. Also, this one is nicer. Why? So I actually tell you about why this is better after I put it on, because let's just put it on because there was no dust on it anymore. So I just realized that it makes more sense to first of all cover the knobs, and then second to go around. So now it's kind of a bigger watch. I mean, that's obviously the thing you have, but it also looks still like a normal watch. I mean, it's a bigger watch, but it still looks like a normal smartwatch, I guess. And that's something that's very nice. It doesn't look like very crappy like the old case did. This is something we could theoretically use also as a screen protection, but yeah, well, it's at least the right diameter. So diameter with the previous one, so the one I cut out myself, I didn't quite hit the right diameter, and it's also quite hard to cut out the circle exactly like this, and therefore the Spigen case just pinched on it all the time, and it just loosened, and well, I lost the protection, and well. So now let's talk about why having these two buttons, actually not visible but accessible, is so crucial. The other one had like a layer on one of these buttons, and what happened then is that on one of these buttons, actually I can go into the normal format again, because I can talk to you again. So hi again. So the thing is, what I kind of figured out, I first tried the body composition function on here, which is something that's pretty much unique to the Galaxy watches. I think I haven't researched like a lot of other watches, because let's face it, this is kind of the best one on the market right now. So I mean, apart from the Apple Watch, but I don't have any clue what these offer, because I just don't follow the Apple thing anymore, because I don't have Apple, and therefore it doesn't really make any sense apart from talking about it. So now, when it comes to the body composition, this is something that's crucial, and I also already realized that this is something this is just something very nice. It was like $10, I don't quite know, I could look it up, but 10 to 15 bucks, something like this. And these 10 to 15 bucks probably save you a little bit of resale value, and also just the feeling, just being able to repair these things, and if this here scratches, then you just get a new one for 10 bucks or 15 bucks. So therefore, I mean, some people just don't do any of these things, but you just have to clean anything or clean your sink in the kitchen, and you already are hitting something, and then, well, you have a scratch. I mean, having a device like this with 300 or 400 bucks, this was like 280, I guess, as a student version, which is kind of nice. And also, this is the LTE version. But, so now, let's stick to the case. What is so unique about the case? The thing is that these two buttons need to be free. Why? Because measuring body impedance or body composition with the method of body impedance, not body impedance, but just impedance, actually requires you to connect two different parts of your body to the watch. And then it sends a current through your body, and it measures it again on the other end. The previous case had one button covered, so therefore whenever you wanted to measure your body composition, you actually had to get the cover off, and you could only get the cover off if you also took the straps off. Therefore, this was kind of impractical in terms of using it to measure your body fat. So therefore, I think it's kind of the nicest case. It's the one and only case I found that actually also covers the screen and doesn't have like a normal screen protection, like just a silicone layer or a plastic layer. And therefore, I think it's really nice. Also, if you put these up, you already hear it. It clicks a little bit. So therefore, it's not the best, I guess. So this means it's not protected. Let's actually try it a little bit, because this is also kind of part of it. So therefore, let's just put the watch on, And it just, again, it went on. I mean, I don't know if this happens if you actually put it onto your wrist. And also, yeah, it's pretty chunky now. I mean, it was pretty slim before, but that's just how it is if you add a layer to the case, to the watch. So it's still saying Samsung. Also, when it comes to the Samsung watch itself, it's a little bit of a bummer that you have basically the circle, and then you have like 4 millimeters of just like edge. Why is it there? Couldn't they do the screen all the way? Not the nicest. So let's actually try this. And let's just enter my PIN. Also, a huge thing obviously is that you can now pay with Google Pay, which I haven't figured out quite because my bank actually, you have to add like a card, and you cannot just connect. You cannot just connect Google Pay with PayPal. That's kind of a bummer. And I also just realized I don't know my PIN anymore. But let's just stop the video until I unlock the watch. So I finally got the PIN right. I did it like yesterday, and I just didn't remember. So now let's actually see how responsive it is. I mean, it's still glass. The thing about plastic is obviously that very often, I mean, it's also just started, and these watches take like ages whenever you start them until you can actually do something. You still cannot do something, you still cannot do something, and now it's out. Because, well, and now I have to enter the PIN again, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it, but that's just the screen when the screen turns off. So actually it seems quite like I actually have like responsiveness, which is nice. Let's just spray a little bit of alcohol on there, because, well, why not? I wanted to say something like a little bit of alcohol is always good, but it's obviously something that could also be interpreted in the wrong way. So now I think it's probably not as good as the screen itself, but you just can take a look at it. So let's just focus on the watch instead of on me. It doesn't really work in portrait mode. So now, yeah, well. And I also realized, yeah, well, that's it. That's a wrap. So, would I recommend the case? I mean, it looks like the best case. It's the best I found on Amazon. It's kind of the only one with a screen protection, and therefore I would recommend it, I guess. I mean, we still have to see how it is in the future, but that's it.